Good morning, everybody. Hi. I really felt led to jump on this morning very impulsively. It has been an insane 48 hours for me. It is currently 7:20 a.m. on, I think today's the 28th, August 28th. I'm grateful for the support that I've been shown from different people, the comments, the love, the likes. I knew at some point my poetry would reach the ears of the people who inspired the writing. And there's a lot of people involved in that, so you can jump to conclusions for whoever you think that party may be, because there's a lot of parties involved in that right now. The universe, spirit works in mysterious ways. There are no coincidences. And I'm going to continue standing in my truth. I'm going to continue releasing. I'm going to continue not allowing silence to be pushed onto me. I'm done with that. I got my kids on the bus this morning for school, and then I sat down here at my kitchen table and was eating some breakfast, and I'll show you what's on my wall really fast, because this is why I'm about to read with you guys what I'm going to read, if I can flip it. It's the Beatitudes, okay? Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5. And I put those up there a while ago. A few months ago when I started coming back to my Bible and this scripture had come back to me. Sorry, I'm processing a lot. Anyways, I'm just going to read the chapter. I think I'm at a loss for words, and I need to take that as a sign of, I don't need to share words. I need to share what I got on here to share, which was Matthew 5. For context, I'm reading from a King James Bible, King James Version. And I'm just going to read verses 1 through 16, although the chapter itself has 48 verses, at least in this version of the Bible that I'm currently reading. Muffin, go lay down. She doesn't like me talking to people. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, poor meaning humble here. Humble. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the land. Or they shall inherit the earth, sorry. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure, the sincere in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely, for my name's sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So that's where it stops in my brain. You know, that's what I've highlighted for like the blessed verses, right? And this is all highlighting and stuff from back when I was still very active in my churches. But he goes on to say, ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt hath lost its savour, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. So that verse in particular, I've heard preached a lot of different ways. But like, let's just take it in context and for what it says. How they stored their herbs and spices back when Jesus was around on the earth. You know, they didn't have Tupperware containers. They didn't have salt and pepper shakers, all that kind of stuff. They stored it differently. And after a certain point, if it wasn't housed and stored directly, or like its shelf life, after a long time, it loses its quality. It loses how strong it is. And at that point, it was no longer kept in the house. They didn't keep it for cooking. They got rid of it because it lost its taste. So that is what Jesus is referencing in that verse. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt hath lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? If it is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. My brain thinks of like how we use salt for melting snow and stuff up north. Or ice down here, you know. Yes, it is salt. It's a different kind of salt. We don't use that for cooking. No. Ye are the light of the world. Verse 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. For kicks and giggles, I'm just going to jump down to verse 19 really fast and read that one too. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and teach men also, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. If you're a pastor, I really, really hope you're following the Beatitudes. Jesus doesn't say anything about the 10 Commandments. That's all I'm going to say there. I'm not afraid of sharing my voice. I'm not going to stop sharing my voice, and I don't care whose feathers it ruffles. I'm going to keep shining my light. And the universe is going to keep taking care of me in really, really strange, weird ways. I'm definitely going to share more about the last 24 hours at some point. But now isn't the time. Not even last 24 hours, the last 12 hours since last night. Whew. And you know what's really, really funny? Old me would have gotten so butthurt by the lack of comments or the lack of likes, or it would have made me want to stop. I don't care. I don't care. First, I can see the views. People are watching. Even if you're not saying nothing. And that's fine. You can keep watching all day. This message is getting to the right people. However that looks. This is really uncomfortable. This is really weird for me. This is a space I've never been in, and I am so grateful that I have this Bible. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. There's a lot of people mourning and very, very, very much grieving right now. For lots of different reasons. Myself being one of them. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. I'm just going to sit over here and keep telling my truth. If it ruffles your feathers, sit with it. See what it does for you, because I've already done my work around it. I don't know a single person that has done what I'm trying to do right now. And that's just live authentically and not live silently anymore. Both at the same time. When I say that, that's what I mean. Like, that's what I'm referencing. I don't know someone that has had a similar story to mine that is choosing to break the silence. They've all walked away. They've all stayed quiet. And I don't say that in judgment. I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to. So, I guess this was a kind of a little impulsive soul session, little devotional for you this bright, early, Thursday morning. I am in a very crashing physical state right now. And I am going to be doing a lot of self-care today, and I'm grateful that I am able to do that. I'm also very, very grateful for the clarity that I've been given over the years and the work that I've done around my mental health to know narcissism and control and manipulation and gaslighting. I'm really, really grateful. So I guess this is a little impulsive soul session for you guys this morning. Spirit was really leading me to get on, and I might go live tonight and share more backstory behind the poem I released yesterday. If you didn't see it, go ahead and check out my profile. I'm going to drop the link for it below as well. I released a new poem yesterday, and if you're just jumping onto my page new to begin with, there's another poem I released the week prior. Some spoken word pieces that I'm really proud of. I've been writing for a long time, and it's a whole nother type of therapy to not write it, but perform it. And that's how I wrote this stuff. I just wanted to bring some of Matthew 5 to you guys this morning and remind us all a little bit of what Jesus's commandments were. Jesus specifically, the one that we're here, that Christians claim to follow. A lot of people in the woke space right now qualify for the blessed bees. So if you are in spiritual spaces where they are bashing or downing woke people, even if it's with love or peace, I would be careful and just read the Bible for yourself. I have to just say this before I close. I'm going to pull a card first before we stop. I knew that releasing that poem, that first one, the way that I did was going to grab a lot of attention. And honestly, it was a very strange coincidence that I had already been working on that poem theatrically for a while before circumstances did come about for me to go about actually releasing it. So that was the one poem that I had worked on the most outside of just writing it and getting the wording down. So I didn't know that how things were going to unfold in the future for me when I was doing it at the time. I just was really passionate about that, and because of how much the world is changing right now, including how much that is deeply affecting my kids and I, and the status of supports that we are getting right now through the government, I needed some place to put all of this panic, and so I put it into my practicing for that first poetry film. And I knew it was going to shake people. I knew it was going to rattle people. And I'm glad I did it anyways, because it's me finding the strength back in my voice and reclaiming the truth of what actually happened in my story. And it's bringing forward the people that I knew I could rely on then and can still rely on now to some degree. People that love me and I love them, and like that's reciprocity. Even like it's reciprocal. Not reciprocity. That's not the right word. It's reciprocal, even if we don't agree or see eye to eye on things. And I know that. But it's funny because the feathers that are getting the most ruffled by all of this are, and the ones that are giving me backlash and control, actual control, and so much manipulation, all in private. They're the ones that I knew were going to get ruffled by this. Go sit in the ick if this gets back to you. Go sit with that. Go sit with that. And if you're someone who's watching that knows them third party or just has a guess, honestly, I have so many parties that could be involved with by me, because I've had so many different people burn me or walk away from me or ignore me. And not because I was, icky to them first. I'm not saying that my behaviors were always right, but like, I know who I am. I show up as who I am all the time, and I own my junk. I will apologize. I will make amends. I am rattled. My nervous system is rattled because of the contact that was made last night. And also, that contact made a nice donation in the name of Jesus. And I say that very sarcastically because of who that person is. And I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm going to leave that there for now. But it has shook me, because where's Jesus? Accountability. Accountability. I'm going to pull a card. If you haven't watched my poem from yesterday, that one, well, yes, it's related to the church. That's actually, the church isn't what brought me to actually write that one. Card flip while I was talking. Tell shame to suck it. Oh my God. Thanks, Jerry. I needed that so hard. And that's what happened. The person that made contact last night. Hello, Miss Robin. The person that made contact last night really, really tried using shame and manipulation and money attached to it at that point as well. You do that. You do that. Scene. Tell shame to suck it. I'm going to read that card. Oof. I needed that chuckle this morning. Oh my gosh. Because honestly, I'm really, really mad. I'm over, my nervous system is on override. And I think that's what I'm more mad about, is that this has thrown my body into this world. I'm not mad at the person. Honestly, that's comical. F off. You're too beautiful, too lovely, too worthy to spend any time in shame. Healthy guilt is about recognizing that your actions were not on the mark and could not be improved and could be improved. Let me read that again. Healthy guilt is about recognizing that your actions were not on the mark and could be improved. Do over and do better. There's power in that kind of guilt, but shame is an attack on your very essence. It depletes your energy and steals your shine. Stay out of that pit. Find a friend and practice shame resiliency. Get vulnerable. Get real. Own your own original innocence. Shame will send you into hiding. Don't let it. You are a rare bird, and you're too cute for that crap. The church I was raised in, the mindset was very much shame in a not good way. And that's how I learned my relationship with God originally in the Bible. And it's why I've had to find a way to go back to it, because that shame has literally shut my body down. It's having effects on my nervous system now that it's not just shame, a lot of other trauma, but that's where it's rooted in. And so I've been doing a lot of changing up here and healing up here in my brain. But now my body is trying to integrate in the rest of my systems, and it is really, really difficult. I won't lie. But it's given me the ability to come back to the Bible, and this has been really healing in and of itself. If you haven't read them in a minute for yourself, go to Matthew chapter 5 and just read the blessed bees. Read the Sermon on the Mount. And remember that Jesus was not talking to a body of church people. Jesus was talking to a bunch of people and standing on the side of a mountain. Okay? This particular, how this is set in context at the beginning of this, at the very beginning of this chapter, it says, and seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying. So this particular chapter of the Bible gives the context that it was just him having this conversation with his disciples. But even with that, at that point, he wasn't talking to the church. He was talking to his direct support, his direct followers, like his closest, like his friends. They weren't, the Bible frames them, the author of these books individually frames the disciples as these people that were followers of Christ. But because they were, but if you put it in context of who they were day to day in relation to Jesus, those are probably like his best friends, okay? Like, Jesus could not have existed on the earth for 33 years and have gone through all of the awful things that he did without support. And even that card said, find yourself friends that pull you out of that shame. Jesus taught accountability. Jesus taught healthy guilt, okay? I didn't know I was going to pull that card, but earlier when I was talking about how, I make amends. If I did something wrong, I will own it. I will fess up to it. It might take me a second to get past my emotion, my embarrassment, whatever. But like, I'm aware, and I'm not going to continue that behavior. Find friends that give you healthy guilt, not shame. If you're sitting in shame, that's not Jesus, okay? Sitting in shame is honestly, in my opinion, relates to blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Because if you carry that kind of shame, you're also naturally going to be very humble, more than likely. At least that's been my experience. It's been to my detriment a bit. And some people say I'm not humble. That's fine, and you don't really know me very well, because I am. But I've also learned to take responsibility for the things that I've worked really hard for and the places that I've worked to get. Because it helps me get to verse 14, 15, and 16, Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. I needed that. There's your little intuitive, very, very intuitive soul session. I think this is the first soul session I've done in a hot minute. This is definitely the first one I've jumped on intentionally and done live. But here we are. We're just doing all the things and going with the flow. I wish you all the best. Beautiful day today of a Thursday. We are going into a long weekend for a lot of us. I hope that you find rest and joy and peace for yourself in that. If you are able, take a moment and go be around a community of people if that aligns for you. Worship, how that looks for you. Go spend time in nature. When I say worship, go wiggle your toes in the grass. Go ground. Our nervous systems all really, really need that right now. All right. Peace and love. And a lot of Jesus and Jerry.